A very good evening. Welcome to the State of Business on our television. I'm Sachin Ratnayakar. Let's look at the headlines first. National Consumer Price Index remains same as the last month. Department of Census and Statistics announces. New tax amnesty bill will not suffocate the smooth functioning of the stock market. Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman assures. News in details. The Department of Census and Statistics said that the National Consumer Price Index for June was 6.1%, the same as the previous month. The department also said that the contribution to the inflation rate of June 2021 from the food group and non-food group are 4.5% and 1.6% respectively. Core inflation, which reflects the underlying inflation by excluding volatile items of food, energy and transport groups in the economy for the month of June 2021, has declined to 4.1% from 4.2% in May this year. Contributions of food and non-food groups to the inflation in June 2020 were 5.8% and 0.5% respectively, resulting in a headline inflation of 6.3%. With respect to June last year, the reported increase in percentage of food group was mainly due to higher price levels prevailed in this month of June this year, particularly prices of rice, coconuts, coconut oil, vegetables, turmeric powder and big onions. Comparing the month-on-month changes, NCPI in June 2021 has increased to 145.7 from 143.6 reported in May 2021. This shows an increase of 2.1 index points or 1.5% as compared to May 2021. The month-on-month change was contributed by increases of index values of food items by 1.23% and non-food items by 0.22% respectively. Price increases of food items were reported for rice, vegetables, coconut oil, fresh fish, dried fish, Mysore dal, potatoes, big onions, red onions, sugar, limes, garlic, eggs, green chilies, chicken, chili powder, green gram, turmeric powder and gram. However, decreases in index values were reported for fresh fruits and coconuts. However, a very slight price decrease was reported in group of alcoholic beverages, tobacco and narcotics compared to the preceding month. Meanwhile, the price indices of clothing and footwear, communication, recreation and culture, education, restaurants and hotels, and miscellaneous goods and services groups remained unchanged during the month. The main opposition Samagri Jana Balawegaya filed a petition in the Supreme Court challenging the constitutionality of the finance bill, which seeks to authorize tax amnesties and write-offs default taxes. A former State Minister of Finance and Samagri Jana Balawegaya parliamentarian Iran Wickramaratne challenged the bill on behalf of the opposition. Samagri Jana Balawegaya parliamentarian Iran Wickramaratne in his petition last Friday stated that several provisions in the bill are inconsistent with the Constitution. The Minister of Parliament accordingly suggested that it would require to be passed with a special majority in Parliament as well as get the approval of the people at a referendum to become law. The financial bill was presented to the House on the 20th by Leader of the House Dinesh Gunawardena. The petitioner stated that the grant of the tax amnesty would legitimize fraud on the revenue perpetrated by those to whom the amnesty is granted and would be discriminatory of the taxpayers and citizens who have already made payment of the relevant taxes. The petitioner also stated that some clauses in the bill are arbitrary, irrational and grossly unreasonable, contrary to the rule of law, the public trust doctrine and the sovereignty of the people. He also added that it will encourage further tax evasion and will not secure a net benefit to the state. The main argument of the parliamentarian was the sum to be collected as a tax on voluntary disclosure of 1% of the sum disclosed is far lower than the tax liability of the persons who have already paid tax in terms of applicable existing law. The bill applies to any person who has not disclosed any amount of taxable supply, income, or assets which were required to be disclosed under the provisions of any law for any taxable period ended on prior to the 31st of March last year. The petitioner has also sought relief from the Supreme Court to declare several clauses in the bill as inconsistent with the Constitution. Meanwhile, the Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Virat Dayaratne assured that the new bill will not suffocate the smooth function of the market as claimed by the opposition. President's Counsel Dayaratna made these observations addressing a seminar on the new SEC bill organized by Asian Pathfinder and corporate legal consultants in Colombo last week. Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Viraj Dayaratna said the SEC realized the need for the introduction of a new law and the process of drafting one commenced several years ago. He also added that the consultants from the World Bank, experts of the industry, and many other stakeholders have contributed immensely in the formation of the proposed law. The Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman also added that although the proposed law contains many provisions that will enhance the powers of the Commission with regard to regulations, they are meant to act as deterrent and in no way are they excessive. He also assured that they had made every attempt to ensure that there are no grey areas or ambiguities in the provisions contained in the bill. SEC Chairman said the port city will open up new avenues and opportunities and Sri Lanka's securities market will invariably evolve to greater heights. He said steps are also being taken to introduce legislation to demutualize the Colombo Stock Exchange, which will further enhance the efficiency of its operations. Dayaratna also noted that ultimately a lot depends on the interpretation of the law by lawyers, and it depends mostly on the interest of the clients from they represent. Stay tuned for more news after this commercial break.
ඉරිදා ඔබේ විවේකීය දවස. නමුත් ඒ විවේකය රටේ ආර්ථිකයට හෝ ඔබේ ව්‍යාපාරයට නම් නොවේ. ඒ නිසාම මේ ඉරිදා අපි එනවා සුපුරුදු සෙනෙහසින් ව්‍යාපාරික ලෝකයේ සද්දිනක තොරතුරු සමගින් රැඳී සිටින අප සමග.
Welcome back after the break. Senior environmental scientist at Center for Environmental Justice, Hemantha Vitanage, says that the government should go for prompt actions to make sure the justice is implemented for all the parties affected by the Express Pearl disaster, including the environment.
We are demanding the government agencies to do stop this oil leak. And also the government seems waiting for the compensation package. Originally they say they are going to have the initial compensation. They were demanding about 40 million US dollars, but the company has agreed to give only 2.3 million US dollars or something, but that does not include the environmental damage. So the environmental claim still need to finalize, but the government still don't take a full responsibility of handling this ship disaster. Still the insurance company has given the responsibility, and they are the one who is bringing salvage companies. So it's all confused, and various politicians made very, very disastrous statements, including some of those scientists from the university. So we are very unhappy with the scientific community, because according to the UN, the ultimate benefit of the science should reach to the local communities. And here, the local communities are here without no income for last few months, and the benefits of science has not reached the local communities.
Senior environmental scientist Hemantha Vitanage also said that the government should go for proper emergency response mechanisms to face such unexpected incidents. He further added that the government also needs to sign some international conventions to receive the international assistance immediately.
We have 3 international harbors, but unfortunately we don't have a proper emergency response mechanism. So in this court case, we are demanding government to do the proper emergency response mechanism, including we haven't signed to the international conventions. I think that is one of the reasons that we cannot ask for money from the international agencies. There is a trust fund to help the countries in this kind of situation. Unfortunately, so we haven't signed to that convention, in HNS convention. So therefore we are in a very bad situation. So therefore we are demanding governments to do the emergency response mechanism. At the same time, we don't have the equipments, we don't have the knowledge, and if we had the knowledge, definitely we would not pump water into the burning chemical ship. That's one of the reasons for this disaster. And we have not even turned the ship fire doesn't go across the containers. If you look at the real pictures, the fire is on the direction of the containers. We would have done it differently.
Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all share price index dropped by 19.06 points to close at 8,117.70, and the S&P SL20 dropped by 14.36 points to close at 3,077.95. The turnover was 4.6 billion rupees and over 153 million shares were traded. Up next are the forex rates. With that, we are winding up today's news. See you tomorrow with the state of business at the usual time. Until then, take care. Good night.